Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Dark Souls Remastered. Let's go do some forest PvP. Maybe one day we'll find someone in Dark Analon though, but I get the feeling that day is not going to be today, so back to the forest. Yeah, since we're going to rest at the bonfire next to the forest anyway, let's just buff up this S-Dock so we can... Actually, I think I one-shot the trees with the sprinting attack anyway, but fuck it. Now I can be extra sure I one-shot the trees. Oh, see, now if I accidentally don't hit the first one, it will still one-shot them. See, perfect. Great idea, Mike. Also, in case of emergency, I brought TWAP. That's only for extreme circumstances. Like, if they're using TWAP, I'll use TWAP right back. And do I have my Hable Shield? Like, yeah, quick access in case of dark magic spammers. Easily without having to waste a buff. Come on now, come on. Really? Okay. See, I like the bandit. He does exactly what I want him to do. He runs straight up to me, two-handing his axe, and swings it immediately. Cleric, you know, he likes to run up to you and just wait in front of your face with his shield up. Thief likes to run up to you and then just suddenly do nothing. I don't know what his programming is meant to, like, emulate. Is he supposed to, like, get close to you, and if you accidentally turn your back on him, he backstabs you or something? I don't know. And the mage guy, you know, kind of, sometimes he'll pull out his weapon rush at you, sometimes he'll just play keep away for as long as it takes to annoy the crap out of you. Bandit, you know, he's dangerous because he hits really hard, but you know what? I like him. My favorite of the bunch here. He's the only one not a dosh. And hopefully we'll find some PvP. I mean, it's like nearly 4 in the morning. Eastern time at least. I mean, maybe people on the West Coast who are playing at 1 a.m. will run into me. Hey, the sign's suddenly just loaded in. Where's... I think I saw that message a few days ago, and it was like way lower rated. Way of stabbing in the back. Does that mean that this guy like got like an Estus flask charge like 1,791 times? Because that's a shit ton of times. Just PvPing a dude and he's just like spamming the Estus button over and over. And it keeps chugging it and it keeps getting refilled. And he's like, "You can't kill me, Anakin. I have the dankest Estus." I might as well kill the trees while we wait. And you know, if we suddenly get invaded and there's a bunch of trees that we need to handle really quick, we can just wog them. There you go, I was wondering where y'all went. Oh shit, he's a master. Whoa, hey. Oh shit. That was a whiff. That was a big whiff. Oh god, I don't like slipping around on cliffs. It's like never a comfortable experience. you like my tactics? I call it hit and run. I'm the sole inventor of it. Oh, do I see a fog wall? No, that's an item. Yeah, that makes sense. The fog wall would be like way over there, not way off to the right of it. I wonder if I'm just having a problem with my connection. I think we switched something with our internet recently. I don't really know exactly what it was. I just kind of got home from work and one of my family was like, by the way, we changed this. And suddenly I don't seem to be getting invasions as much. And that's concerning. I'd like to find invaders, please. Do I have any cracked red eye orbs in my inventory? I do. Let's just use this. Because sometimes when I see people, when I use this, it just immediately gets me invaded. I have no idea why. Might have something to do with how the matchmaking works. Maybe when it's like looking for people to invade, it's essentially... I mean, I heard there's like a matchmaking server, so everyone's supposed to be connected at once. But it seems like at random, I mean, not even at random, I'll just keep getting invaded by like the same couple of people. So I don't know if it's truly like that, or if it's kind of like, like it shovels you around rooms more frequently. Unlike the last one, where it was essentially you connect to an area, you connect with like, what was it, like 12, 20 people, and that was it. Yeah, the initial matchmaking system, the original Dark Souls, was kind of hot garbage. You know, I should... Oh, no, actually, I don't want to join the Force Covenant, because then I won't get invaded by other Force people. But at some point, I need to join them and get the some of the weapons from Shiva of the East. That was his name. It's funny, you know how I got myself to remember his name? I was like, Shiva the Deceased. I was like, oh, right, it's Shiva the East, more like Shiva the Deceased. Got it. If anyone knows that meme. Man, they could have a way better matchmaking system than this in the Souls games. I mean, hell, I already have a better idea for one. I'll explain it to you right now while we're waiting. So imagine the main thing about this though is it would also require that respecking is much more freely usable, which I mean it should be in games like this. You should be able to respec. There should be a place you can go to respec, and it should be cheap to get, and you should be able to like do it as much as you want. I've never understood why not. It's a mostly single player game with multiplayer elements, so being able to respec shouldn't be able to really break anything. If it does, it just means you didn't design the game well. If it's that easy to break it. But either way, back to the idea. Imagine in each Souls game's hub area there was like a building or a person you can go to, and they gave you the ability to respec. Now that's nothing new so far, but it goes beyond that. Now you take a system, a matchmaking system, sort of like Soul Memory, but instead of dividing the tiers based on the souls you've collected throughout your entire playthrough, it just divides it by levels, because the mathematical algorithm that the game currently has for Dark Souls 1 is not really all that great. It's like, for invasions, it's like 10% below your level and infinitely up. Everything essentially is very tight around your invasion level, other than kind of at the beginning, because everyone is generally the same very low level at the very beginning of the game, and at extremely high levels, because that's when you get these huge casts. But in the middle, there's such a huge discrepancy of levels in the game, and you have to kind of be in that little area. That's why people come up with like the whole Soul level 120 meta, because that's where you can expect to, because if everyone kind of agrees to stop there, that's where you can expect to find lots of invasions. But the downside of that is that everyone's usually waiting for invasions, so they're not truly invasions. You're just you're essentially invading a duel, which is not really an invasion, which is boring. But what I would do is, again, like I said, I have a tier system, kind of like Soul Memory, and I make it so not only can you respec as much as you want, but you can save builds, and you can de-level too. That's an important thing. I'd want to make it so that you can create builds that are lower than your level, and you can like save them. So you can go there and you can like see your saved builds. Like, okay, this is my level 30 build on this character. This is my 51, etc., etc. Essentially, like one character at like the top of each like main tier list. So it's like, you know, say the tiers are like level 1 to 10 is one tier, and then 11 to like 20, and then like 21 to 35, etc., etc. And it just kind of changes based on like what's acceptable for levels or whatever. And so you basically, obviously you make a build that's like the maximum level in each tier or whatever. So, you know, you have like a level 10, level 20, and level like 35 or whatever the heck I said. And you also save like your loadout with it. Oh, I saw the save symbol. I thought I was being invaded. And you have like your loadout saved with it too. So like when you set up your like low level setup, you also choose the equipment it has. And so you have all these builds saved. You have like one for each tier. It also encourages you to get the higher level tiers, since you can just make a build saved in a low level tier. So you can go ahead and just keep leveling. And the way I'd have it set up is you'd have essentially two versions of the Red Eye Orb. You have your normal one, which invades based on that tier list, no big deal. But then you'd have another one that will invade any tier that you have a build available in. And when you invade that world, you will show up in that build that is appropriate for that level that you've made. That way, high-level players can have a build for a ton of levels, and they can invade, and there'd be a lot more invasion activity. Because every level is susceptible, and everyone is invading around every level, and it would always be fair. Now, obviously, there could potentially be an issue of twinks with upgraded equipment. That said, if I had designed a Dark Souls game, I would make it so weapon upgrades was not a thing. It would purely be side grades. And I'd make it so it would scale more appropriately with your stats. Because I've never really felt there was much purpose in having two separate upgrade systems. I know it's so that you can't really be like a super crazy glass cannon at low levels, but you can easily kind of balance that. Because, I mean, the entire point of Titanite chunks and stuff like that is, and Titanite drops and stuff like that is for two reasons. A, to kind of fill up the world, and B, man, there's like no invasions. This might just be a whole episode of me talking, in which case I'll label it as no invasions happen in this episode. But, B, I would have, what did I say for A? I distracted myself mentioning that there was no invasions. Ah, fuck. Oh yeah, so there's only two reasons why Titanite chunks are in the game. A, to purposely limit your damage, though that said, that doesn't really do much because you've all seen me murder the gargoyles with a hand axe in like no time flat, which was just laughable. And B, to just kind of fill up the world with the loot that's not really interesting. They could have done a lot more to make the loot in this game interesting. Imagine instead of buying armor from merchants only ever had like consumable items, and it's like armor that they would have had, it just kind of spread out throughout the world. Like maybe if you wanted to find a full armor set, you had to actually explore an area and find it. Because it seems like anytime you find an armor set in this game, you just find it all as one big pile. It's like, there you go. And I mean, I kind of get why it's supposed to be like you're looting it off of a dead body. But it's just not as interesting. It's not as interesting to have a loot, because I mean, like, there's mainly two kinds of loot in this game: upgrade materials and just souls that you don't lose if you die because they're just a consumable soul. And that's not interesting. Sometimes like a covenant item, which again is like the least interesting way to get it. But yeah. The way I'd probably counterbalance that is I'd probably make it so that I'd probably just make it so naturally throughout the game, as you get items, you'd be more powerful against PvE enemies, but I'd make it so PvP situations, it doesn't affect that, and I just make it so that your damage output and your damage intake are kind of balanced in general with those stats. That way twinking would never be an issue. Like, imagine you got an item that made it so that you dealt bonus damage against enemies, but it doesn't apply with players. but also enemies don't actually hit you super hard. I mean, relative to how hard you'd be hitting. That way, when a player hits you with like their weaker weapon because they don't have those upgrades, it still does reasonable damage because everything just kind of doesn't hit that hard. It's just you that hits hard on the PvE enemies that kind of restrict your damage for like progression. That said, I don't think that's really should even be a thing either. I'd probably design a game around that, but in Dark Souls scenario, with how it sets up how you have to make your weapon stronger throughout the game, that would really be the only reasonable way to go around that and make the loot interesting. But I don't know, that's just me. I really do think the whole PvP matchmaking idea where you can have a bunch of builds saved and use an item that lets you invade and it finds anybody and picks whatever build you have that's in that tier. I honestly think that would be the be-all, end-all, best possible matchmaking system. Because if you think about how that works, that would be just eternally active. It's basically anyone searching for literally anyone. At all times, and it would always be fair because it would always use a build you have in that level. I don't know. What do you think about that? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. Damn it! Every single time I see that save thing, I'm thinking, "Oh fuck! I'm finally being invaded." No. I would want to make a game, but I'd want to actually learn how to make games before I do it. I wouldn't want to be the guy on the fucking dev team that's like, I'm the idea guy, because fuck that guy. Nobody wants to be that guy. I'd want to be like, oh yeah, I'm the designer, and I had this idea for this thing. So, and they liked it. They're like, oh, okay. If you're like, well, I mean, I had this idea. Well, okay, what'd you do for the game? I had that idea. Fuck you. The only time you're allowed to be the idea guy is if you're literally funding the entire thing yourself. In which case, yeah, okay, you're the idea guy. What did you bring to the table? Shit tons of money. Okay, that's fair. I mean, it's things like that why I don't really necessarily consider the Souls games to be the best games ever. Just because, I mean, that was a system I thought of a long time ago, and I thought of it on a fucking whim when I was playing the original Dark Souls, thinking like, man, I never get invaded anymore. Wouldn't a system like this be great? And stuff like that. And I thought of it on a fucking whim. I was just a fucking random dude in, fuck, when that game came out, 2012? So that was like 6 years ago. I was just I couldn't even fucking drink at that time. I'm just fucking coming up with these amazing ideas on a whim. Don't lie and tell me that idea's not amazing. Fucking, you know it's amazing. Every single problem a game has a way to fix it. It always does. You just need to have somebody that can figure out how to. Oh, well, this might explain why I wasn't getting invaded. Come on now. Like I said, my internet's been wonky lately. Well, once we reconnect, which shouldn't take too long, usually after a few tries it suddenly works, we'll use the drive finger, we'll wait like 2 minutes, and that doesn't happen, I'll at least do something this episode. I'll go back and I'll like... Actually, you know what I'll do? I'll go to the Ulysseal Township and I'll unlock the elevator to the lower bonfire. Come on now. What does my internet say? Hold on. Because I just flat out don't have an internet connection right now. You know what? Let's just load it in single player and we'll go to the township. We'll get the lower bonfire. So yeah, I'll be sure the title says no invasions happen in this episode. That way people aren't misled. But hey, it was good talk. Did I go to Sanctuary or Township? Okay, good. I was about to say, man, I hope I don't get invaded here, but oh right, I'm disconnected. That's not gonna fucking happen. Let's go ahead and... Oh yeah, I gotta get my PvE setup going. There we go. Wow, that was one hell of a chain of swings there. Jesus. Are we even gonna have Chester invade? Because I just realized I don't think I actually talked to him in this playthrough. I just kind of like... ignored him. Okay, no, he still invades. Alright, now I wish I had the Hornet Ring on. I can just stun lock him, I guess. Not indefinitely, it seems, but, Ow. It's so weird having Chester as an invading character, because technically he has like a different character model than anyone else, as far as I can tell. Because I mean, like, he's taller, right? He's taller than any of the possible body types in this game, so he's just a straight up unique character model. Of course, Dark Souls 2 brought that shit to the next level by making it so you can like summon a Scorpion man to fucking co-op with you against this Scorpion lady. Alright, that's the stone. I mean, it looked janky as fuck, because why the hell wouldn't it? But you know what? So fucking great. Come at me, bro. Oh, you fucked up. Oh, you laughed anyway, though, because, I don't know. Maybe you didn't mean it, and you're relieved that I did not get injured. But I don't care. Oh, that was like a counter hit. I guess because he was technically starting an attack when he was that close. Yeah. Ah, rubbish. Good. Whoa, that was a big old fuck up. Yep. Okay. Oh god, that's a lot of damage. No! Ooh. Ooh. Why wouldn't you... Jesus, I've been trying to one-hand my weapon for so long. I got my shield out and he won't do it. I think it's because I was like out of stamina. But I wasn't paying attention to that when my health was that low. I was more distracted by the lack of a gigantic red bar that's usually, like, quite plentiful. I'm gonna go up and around. I don't want to charge right in with that caster there, you know? But yeah, and you know, the thing I mentioned before with the matchmaking, that can apply with white signs too. You have two different kinds of white signs. One takes around your level, the other one any level. I cannot think of a better system, because, I mean, what's better than a system that just literally lets everyone co-op or invade everyone? Even if there's a bit of a stipulation, obviously for balance purposes, but, I mean, I think it'd be better than just making it so that it scales you down when you invade, but, because that never, like, works quite right. Because, you know, there's lots of things where it's like, how do you scale it down? Like, your equipment load, they never scale that down because they don't want you to, like, load into somebody else's world and then suddenly have a different roll speed. So I don't think it, like, scales down your damage even more to compensate for that. It's really weird. It just doesn't work. It'd also be nice if they just made it so you can invade people who are anywhere on the map. Or anywhere in the game rather than just specifically in your area. Dark Souls 2 did that with, I don't know if it worked with the red eye orb, but you could with the blue eye orbs. You can invade anybody, anywhere. It was great. It was fucking awesome. Oh god, this is bad. This is real bad. Okay. Just wail away. I'm glad you just decided to stand around and do nothing. For whatever reason. What's he doing? It's like, I don't want to fight, I'm gonna walk away. Oh god. Oh yeah, I thought I was fucked. Oh, kinda was there. Jesus. Okay, hold on, Bucko, let me... Don't backstab me, somehow. Jesus! I don't think I've ever seen that attack. Is that a weapon to surpass Metal Gear? I don't know why my mind went to Metal Gear reference. Guy wrapped up in chains with a rock tied to him. A weapon to surpass Metal Gear. Got him right before the buff ran out. I was worried it was gonna run out as I was plunging. Oh, right, it's this way. Also, I wish they added a third ring slot in Dark Souls 1 specifically just for Covenant rings. I feel that's something that they realized was a great idea for Dark Souls 3, which I've been fucking saying they needed since Dark Souls 2 came out, but whatever. Took them long enough. At least they got it. And they could have added like a third ring slot just for Covenant rings in Dark Souls Remastered, and they didn't, and that's disappointing. Because you better believe I would just always be in the Forest Covenant with that Forest ring on when playing through the game normally. But now it's like, well, I could, but then I won't have as much poise from my Wolf ring. And I can take off my favorite protection ring, etc., etc. I mean, there's a lot of aspects of the game where I'm like, yeah, I know, I get why they kind of kept this system, which could have been better, because even though it is a remaster, they do want to kind of keep it true to the original flaws and all. Because, you know, they want people who haven't played the first one to still be able to essentially experience the first one. Flaws and all, but, you know, other than dead angling, which, you know, I'm all for. Dead angling is just dumb. So I have a friend who, if I said that to him, he would immediately be enraged. He loved dead angling. So, you know, obviously I use it as something to fuck with him with all the time. Like, if he's like, man, I'm glad they removed such and such from such and such game. I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's great when developers remove broken things that are dumb from games, kind of like dead angling. And he's like, fuck you. It's great. Oh, you know what this means, right? We'll see the Civ cutscene now. Don't need to bother picking up that shield, though. Maybe that shield triggers the cutscene now. Oh well. If it does, then oh well. And then this elevator. You know what, let's just go ahead and get Calamite. Let's get his boss fight ready as well. Because again, having a boss fight here makes this an invadable area. So it's just another area you can be invaded in. Other than that, there's like no point in, yes, hello. Other than that, there's really like no point in, killing him after you've already gotten the ring and the weapon if you cut off his tail. Because I don't think he actually drops anything. Like, no special soul to make stuff out of. Gotta go talk to Goff. I don't know if you have to talk to Goff first. Why am I calling him Goff? It's Go. I don't care if the fucking actor pronounced it wrong. It doesn't suddenly make it so this incorrect pronunciation is suddenly right. And yes, I believe it was actually confirmed that he just pronounces it wrong. His own fucking name. Let's go. Hawkeye, go. That's what I heard, at least. I could be dead wrong. It could be Goff. But I'm still gonna call him Go. Kind of like how fucking Titus's name is technically Titus, but fuck that. Everyone calls him Titus anyway, because Titus is way fucking better. Oh, we should get fucking 97 dung pies. Crazy Mike.
Farewell, you.
Yeah, for whatever reason I ever end up invading Northernlion, you better believe I'm gonna drop him exactly 97 dung pies. I don't remember all that stuff super well, but I do remember that 97 dung pies, crazy Mike, just because it was in that Indie Mouse video. And so it just kind of sticks out like a sore thumb in my memory. Alright, count. I think they could have also done weapons a lot better in this game. I feel like they should have went with quality over quantity. Or had a crapload of side grades. Like, rather than making it so it had the current upgrade system, and this is something that they could do to, like, actually fill up the world with, like, meaningful feeling loot and stuff, is they could make it so that, you find weapon parts, and rather than blacksmiths, like, upgrading weapons, you can swap them out, and it changes, statistics with the weapon. Like, maybe its skill set is changed if you swap out the blade, or, scaling is different if maybe you swap out the handle or something, because maybe it's weighted differently or something. Maybe something can change, like, the weight of the weapon, but also the damage, so maybe it'll be heavier. Maybe it'll even swing a little bit slower, or have a slightly more recovery time. But it'll, do a little more damage, etc., etc. And then you can plop those all over your world, and have a shit ton of goodies to play with, to find. That's the thing. I feel like it's pretty easy to fill up a game with interesting loot. You just have to consider how you're going to dole out equipment in a game. You know, in Dark Souls 1, they clearly didn't consider it that much, because most of the time when you find something, you find an entire set for it. Or, you know, you just buy a lot of the weapons in this game from vendors. Yeah, I mean, because, you know, it's like, oh, you want the washing pole? Okay, join the Forest Covenant, and then buy it from that vendor. I mean, don't know, there's still a lot that you also find, or that you have dropped from enemies. Like the Manservant Greatsword, and the what's that one called? The Flamberge, you know, from the other lizard people. I don't know if you have to make them fly over here to trigger Gauss thing, but... Again, I call him Gauss. Fucking Ghost thing. Fuck me. Because, I mean, you know, I mentioned before it would be cool if they, like, did away with the upgrade system and everything skill stats. You know what else would make that amazing for in Souls games? When you find a new weapon, you can just fucking use it right away and get excited about the fact that you found it, rather than being like, yeah, well, I mean, my longsword's plus 10 and this isn't upgraded, so fucking into the goddamn junk box it goes, you know what I mean? Or, you know, I remember in, like, Dark Souls 2, I remember one moment that really makes me think about this is, like, in Dark Souls 2, there's a moment where you find, you know, it's like, I have a mace as a priest, and then I find this one mace, and it's like an enchanted mace or whatever, so it does magic damage. And I think the skeletons in the area are vulnerable to magic. So it'd be cool if you pick that up and you're like, oh, cool, this is handy for this area, and you use it, but it's not upgraded. So even if you're the mace you're using isn't as good, which I think it is regardless because it's a blunt weapon and they're skeletons and bones and stuff. But even if it, like, wasn't a good weapon, it's still better because the one you have is upgraded. You know what I'm saying? I think that's why, like, you know how I said before, I don't think it was in the last episode, but the one before that. I said before, I love Dark Souls, but I think it's not a good game. Or I don't think it's, like, a good game and stuff like that. And it's just things like that. Why? It's because I look at all these things that are in here, and I'm like, oh, it would have been more interesting if they did it like this. And I don't think people would argue against it being that interesting. I think the main argument would be like, well, that's a lot of change. They'd have to wear. I'm not saying they should change things. I'm saying that they should have thought of that before making it. I think it's a lot easier to make a game work a certain way if you think about it before making it. When you're still making it from the ground up, you know? going back and changing after the game's done is obviously way more difficult than, you know, just planning ahead. And that, I think that's a big aspect. I feel like that's a big aspect of game design where I feel a lot of things fall short. Or maybe it just falls short because usually when they're playing ahead of the games, it's like many years before that actually comes. I mean, I say many like it's a crap ton, but usually like 3 years or so. And maybe, you know, the ideas they used then were considered fresh ideas at the time. It seemed really good, but, you know, by the time they get... You know what I mean. But yeah, that'll do it for this episode. If you guys like the random ideas I had at the start of this when looking for PvP and failing miserably, let me know in the comments if you think they'd be better if they were a bit different, or if you think they just wouldn't work for whatever reason. And when I say for whatever reason, I don't mean as something in a Dark Souls game. I'm saying as something in like a whole new game, because obviously that wouldn't work too well in a Dark Souls game with weapon upgrades and stuff like that. There'd be twinks out the ass. But you get what I mean. Assuming it was put in a game where it was actually planned around having it and having a... Like, do you think a matchmaking system like that would be great? I think it would be. I can't think of any reason why it wouldn't be. But maybe you're smarter than me and you thought of something like it. But yeah, if you like the video, be sure to like the video. If you want to see more stuff like this, be sure to subscribe. I promise you, usually when I look for invasions, usually find them. I think my internet's whacking out. But hey, that actually make Dragon's Dogma a good playthrough to do, because internet requirements are quite minimal in that game. You just need them when summoning pawns, and that's it. But, yeah, that'll do it. And I'll see you guys in the next video.